Hi folks, today we're going to be graphing parabolas using intercept form. In the past we've used vertex form, and we've also used x equals negative b over 2a. This way is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be finding the intercepts, which is where the graph will cross the x-axis. There will be times where this doesn't happen, but for our intents and purposes right now it's going to. So as you can see, we have a general equation that we can follow. Y equals a times x minus p times x minus q. A, that job doesn't change. It is still going to tell us the vertical stretch or shrink of the graph. Now, these two parts, x minus p and x minus q, that's going to be where it crosses the x-axis. Now, this, I think, I have a little bit easier way of remembering it, along with some of this other stuff. But for right now, we'll just take a look at a few examples and hopefully answer some of the questions that you might be having right now. So here we're going to take a look at our first example. Y equals 2 times the quantities x plus 3, x minus 1. So the first thing we're going to want to do on this is just take these two and set each part equal to 0. So x plus 3 equals 0 and x minus 1 equals 0. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find what's called the zeros, where it's crossing the x-axis. So find out what x is equal to. So x would equal negative 3 and x would equal 1. So what that tells us is where this graph is going to cross the x-axis. It's going to cross at negative 3 and it's going to cross at 1. Now we can tell where the axis of symmetry is, which is going to be exactly in between these 2 points, but we want to have a method we can use to actually find it in case those 2 points are really rotten. So we can just average out the x-coordinates to find the x-coordinate of the vertex. So the vertex x-coordinate is negative 3 plus 1 divided by 2. So the x-coordinate of the vertex will be negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Divide that by 2 will be negative 1. So we have our vertical axis of symmetry that is running exactly between these 2 points, up and down, at negative 1. So somewhere along that line is our y-coordinate. And we are going to find the y-coordinate the same way we always find the y-coordinate, and that is by plugging in our value of x. So we have y equals 2 times negative 1 plus 3 times negative 1 minus 1. So y equals 2 times negative 2. So when we do the math on all of that, we will have the y-coordinate of the vertex at negative 8. So we can go ahead and plot that point right down here. Now we pretty much have all we need to draw this graph. Keep in mind that since a is positive, it will open up, and since it's a 2, the graph is going to have a vertical stretch to it. So we'll have kind of these arced lines going upward. You can, if you really choose to, pick another point to plot in there. So pick 0 for x and do the math on that, and you would get your y-coordinate, which would basically give you another point on the graph. Here we have another example. We're going to go through it a little bit quicker this time, but we start off right here. Set each of those equal to 0 so we know where it's crossing the x-axis. So we would have x equals negative 4 and x equals positive 2. So we can go ahead and plot those 2 points on our graph. Now we need to know where that line drops down that is exactly between those 2 points. So to find the x-coordinate of the vertex, all we're going to do is average out the 2 x-coordinates we already have. So negative 4 plus 2 divided by 2, and again this is the x-coordinate for the vertex. So negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Divide that by 2, and again that is negative 1. So we will have that nice vertical line dropping down where x is negative 1. Now, to find the y-coordinate, as always, we just plug our x-coordinate in and do the math. So we would have y equals negative 1/2 times negative 1 plus 4 times negative 1 minus 2. So our y-coordinate then will be negative 1/2 times 3 times negative 3, which will be positive 9/2, or 4.5. So our y-coordinate is at positive 4.5, which will be right around in this area. And now we can draw the graph. And as you'll notice, a is a negative fraction. So this graph will open down, and it will be a little bit more of a wider bowl shape. And it'll look something like that. And as I stated earlier, you can pick another x-coordinate to plug in and see what you get coming out for the y-coordinate. This graph will be intentionally left blank so you can give it a try on your own, and when we meet in class we can discuss it to see where your understanding is. This will be your assignment, page 249, 13 to 23 odd, 47 to 48, 53, and 55, parts A and B only. So we will have a quiz coming up shortly within the next day or two. Please pay attention to your calendars, and good luck. We'll see you in class.